Hello everyone and welcome to another review. So if you have a lot of luggage and you ferry a lot of people around in your car and you have a family which is bigger than 5 people and you actually want a usable 7-seater car, then this Honda Pilot could be the car for you. So in today's video we're going to be finding out everything in detail about this 7-seater mid-size SUV. But before we move forward, please consider subscribing to my channel by clicking that subscription button. Next to that there's a bell icon and press that and leave all the notifications on, so that way you will never miss any video updates from my channel. So the Honda Pilot is offered in 3 different editions, which is your EXL, the special edition which is your SE, and the touring version which we are reviewing right now. So this is the top of the line version. So on this one you get lots of chrome, by the way. So you have this full front grille out here which is in chrome, and the Honda badging which is in the glass design, the glossy bit, and even at the bottom there are like more dashes of chrome out here. And on the other side then there is this huge chunky bumper which you see out here. At the bottom there is a silver color sort of a skid plate which has been given. Then there is this more plastic grill, mesh grill, which has been given out here. The actual glossy grill, black one, is out here at the bottom. The 2 slots which are given, the top one is just the covered one, and the chrome actually extends onto these headlights as well, so they make like a C-shaped headlights out here. When you come to these headlight cluster, this is an LED headlight cluster. There is also the LED DRL that you get out here on top, and then the main headlight cluster is also out of LED, but it's actually a mixture of LED and halogen. So the turn signals are made out of halogen, so those are given out here. Then you will see this normal plastic which has been given around that, and in the center you would find the fog lights, which are your LED fog lights, which are given on this Honda Pilot. Now when you look at the Pilot from the side profile, you realize how huge this car is, because it is genuinely pretty long and also tall. Because of these windows which you get out here, they are also pretty tall and actually makes the car appear pretty big. And it is actually pretty big on the inside as well, because there is a lot of space that you can utilize on the inside. Now when you come to the side profile, you get 20-inch alloy rims out here. Then there are these plastic protections which are given on the fender so that you don't damage the actual paint out here. At the bottom there is this sideboard, a fixed one, which has been given, but I just find that it just reduces the height of the car. There are also the chrome strips on that as well, and even at the top there is this chrome strip along with the plastic which has been covered with sand right now because it's a very windy day, as you can make out. There are also more plastic arches in the back so that it protects your main body as well. There's also a full chrome surround around these windows. There is also the roof rails which are given in the silver, and you can make out the car is so tall, like it's nearly matching my height. So yeah, it's not tall. And the side mirrors are chrome and black combination, and they also have the turn signals inside them. While the side mirrors are also power foldable, they are also power adjustable, but the blind spot warning isn't inside them, but it's mounted somewhere out here on the pillar, and it's a little kind of different feeling, because it's never in your eye, that blind spot warning, but it's a little bit in the corner, so you have to get used to that as well. There are also these chrome door handles. There's lots of chrome, as I mentioned, and these doors are keyless entry doors. So in the rear it's pretty similar to the 21 model. So you get these L-shaped tail lights. These tail lights are a mixture of LED and halogen, so the turn signals and the reverse and everything is halogen, while the main signature lights are made out of LED. There is more chrome out here, like a strip. There is chrome badging of the Honda, the Pilot badging, and also the touring and the all-wheel drive. This car is an all-wheel drive. There is more dash of chrome out here at the bottom, and then glossy silver, and then in between that there is just normal plastic that houses these parking sensors as well. And there is also a spare wheel which has been given at the bottom instead of inside. So if you're wondering why this thing opened, because there is a gesture control, so there is a sensor out here. So usually when you swipe your leg, that's when it opens, and I just basically cut that thing, and which is why it opened. But good thing. Now let's come to the boot space. So when the third row of seats are up, you can put 524 liters of luggage in the back, and it's pretty even floor as well. And not just that, there are also these scuff plates out here so that you don't damage your bumper or anything. These third row of seat are foldable in a ratio of 60:40, and that you can do by pulling these straps and then make them fall down. You can do that for both the seats, and then once you fold down the third row of seat, you can put 1583 liters of luggage in the back. Again, the floor still remains pretty flat, and it's one of the humongous boot spaces that you will find again on any mid-size 7-seater car. There are more storages on both the sides. There's a 12-volt power socket which has been given. There are tying points which are given out here, so lots of customizable options as well. And not just that, there is also more space which is given at the bottom, so you can utilize that to, I don't know, store some whatever suits you. You can just put that. Now the second row of seat is also foldable in a ratio of 60:40, and in order to do that you have to do it from the front because it cannot happen from the back. So let me just unlock the car. So once I fold the seats, I'm just going to fold one of the seats, that's just the other side. Now when you fold down the second row of seat, you can put 3092 liters of luggage in the back. Again, the floor is literally flat, so which makes the whole boot space so even, so you can utilize a lot more in here. So yeah, that ways the space options on this Pilot are pretty good. Then you have the motorized tail gate as well, so that's also one more convenient feature. You can even swipe your leg and then close the tailgate as well. And when it comes to the rear visibility, it's actually pretty all right. I would say it's a little restricted. You can just see the middle row, and especially if there are passengers, then it gets a little restricted, and which is why it does not have any camera or anything which was there in the recently reviewed car, which was the Nissan Pathfinder, which is again one more 7-seater mid-size SUV. So you can click on the pop-up banner out here and you can watch that detailed review video of that, in which there is a camera which has been given which relays the output on the rear view mirror. So that's one piece of tech that maybe can be incorporated in the 23 model. So like the 21 model, the 2022 Honda Pilot has pretty much the similar interior. So you still get the soft touch material on the dashboard out here on the sides, even on the door cards it's just soft touch material. Where you're going to be resting hands, again soft touch. Otherwise there is this plastic at the bottom, there's plastic, even out here on the sides there's plastic, the bottom plastic, more plastics everywhere. So it's on the main eye levels where you have the soft touch materials, glossy plastics around the infotainment screen and the air conditioning controls. But the material quality is pretty much for day-to-day use, so it can withstand all the use and abuse, whatever you're going to throw at it, it's going to withstand that. Now when you come to the driver's display, you get two conventional dials on both the sides for your temperature and the fuel, and in the center you will find the screen which will show you digital speed, and on top of that the RPM. And in the center of that you can find the information which can be controlled and seen from the button on the steering wheel on the left side. So it will show you your show hide apps, where you can hide the different apps which are seen in your menu, and then you can see your trip computer, and you can press and see your trip A, trip B, both the information. Then the all-wheel drive torque, which is shows you your IVTM, which is the torque management system, and also the phone option. If your phone is connected, then the navigation, it will even show you the directions when you're connected to the navigation system, the distance and everything on your screen itself, and the media option, then the maintenance option, and inside then you will find the settings option, in which you can basically change the icons, arrange the apps and everything, and also the tachometer if you want to see or not, that you can change. So that's pretty much it in terms of the display options which you get on this one. So pretty straightforward again to use. Now when you come to the steering wheel, this is a leather covered steering wheel, and it's pretty big that ways, and the steering wheel has paddle shifters in the back which are plastic ones and little tiny ones, and the steering wheel is also adjustable for tilt and telescopic both, so you can adjust both and get the right position. And on the right side you would find the controls for your adaptive cruise control, your lane keep assist and everything. All the buttons are given out here, whereas on the left side you will find the controls for your driver's display, and also the infotainment screen and media controls that you can control from here, and also the communication controls. Those buttons have a little bit of a glittery effect, yeah, I don't know if it's not my kind of taste for the buttons, but yeah, they've been given like that. And when it comes to the adaptive cruise control, it's got a little bit of a mind of its own, so it would just accelerate sometimes when there is no traffic in front of it, and it would brake pretty late when there is a car in front of it. So yeah, a little bit of programming, that's the only thing, but otherwise yeah, pretty straightforward steering wheel design. More plastics out here at the bottom as well. Now when you come to the air conditioning controls, you get straightforward button operated system out here, and in terms of the whole appearance out here of the dashboard or the interior, is about time I think it gets a little bit of an upgrade, which is pretty much the 23 model which is going to be coming up, that I'm pretty sure is going to have new controls and everything out here, but button operated. So the straightforward button operated air conditioning control has been given out here. So you get tri-zone air conditioning system on this Pilot. So straightforward on and off button has been given, you can switch it on, and then there is temperature control on both the sides, so you can adjust that, and also the fan speed in the middle and the flow of air and everything that you can adjust from here, and the air circulation, and you can synchronize. But the problem is when you press the sync button, it automatically switches on the rear AC also, so you can't synchronize just the front passenger and the driver, but it will also switch on the rear air conditioning for you, so you have to use it together. And there are also the rear air conditioning controls given from here, so you can control and adjust the temperature from here, you can adjust the fan speed, and also you can lock it so that no one in the back can change the temperature or anything, or the fan speed. So all of that is given out here. And at the bottom of that, you would first notice that there is a DVD player given. So this is why I said it's a little old interior. So there's also a DVD player which has been given. It's a Blu-ray disc. When was the last time we heard about the Blu-ray disc? Yeah, it's a pretty old thing. Yeah, and there are also more buttons given on either side of this disc player, where you will find the buttons for your ventilated, heated, and the cooled seat options. So this Pilot also comes with that, but the buttons are a little on the lower level. At first I actually missed it when I sat in the car, that the buttons were given out here, but it's there on both the sides, so you can switch it on and off on both the sides. And also the heated option, which will be sometimes very short period during the winters that you can use. So that's your air conditioning controls. When you come to the infotainment system, you get an 8-inch colorful display which has been given on this Pilot, and straightforward operations are given on your screen. There are color coded icons as well. Every color code has something. So blue is for your media, the green is for your communication, red is for your navigation, purple is for your rear entertainment, yellow is for your settings and trip related information, your system and everything. So the system is pretty snappy as well. It's all right. There are slight delays sometimes when you connect the Android Auto and everything, but most of the times it works pretty well. So your main option is your navigation, so you get the Garmin navigation system. That itself is pretty all right. Snags, delays a little bit, but once it's loaded, it's pretty fine. It works pretty well. Then you go back, then there is a phone option, then there is the rear entertainment. So there is a 10.3-inch screen which has been mounted for the rear passengers, so they can control that. So this Pilot touring version comes with 10 speaker music system plus 1 subwoofer. And when you switch on this rear entertainment, the thing is, the speakers are cut off from the rear and only the front speakers are working. Now most of the times when my rear, I had kept it on, so when it was kept on, so I thought the music system was pretty low in terms of the volume, but then I switched it off and the whole system just turned up, and that was actually pretty good. So it's a good premium sound system that you get, but yeah, you have to understand that when the rear system is up, that screen, then the speakers are cut off for some reason. And when you come to that, you can switch it on and off straightforward from here. You can control the media on that screen from this USB port. I'm going to come to those ports as well. And when you go back, the other options are your settings, in which you will find all your system, connection, vehicle, camera, display, sound and everything, all that system. Then there is FM, then there is Bluetooth audio. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment system using the auxiliary cable. There is USB, there is Bluetooth, and there is also wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connections that you can use. And Android Auto, when you use, the maps are slightly slow for some reason. The whole system itself is slightly laggy, which can be improved and made a little more snappy, because I like the whole layout of this infotainment setup, the operating system. Then there is the next option, which is your trip computer, where you can see all your trips and everything, and then the SMS option, then the USB, the aux, the social playlist, the AM, then the system updates, my Honda Music, clock, and there is this cabin talk feature, which is again a part of the touring package only. So you can talk to your passengers. I don't know if you can hear my voice now, it's echoing because the back speakers are actually relaying my sound from here. So if you want to speak to your passengers of the second and the third row, so you can speak to them using this cabin talk feature. So this car is that big. Now once we continue, after that there is the Android Auto and the Apple CarPlay, and the bottom you will find the all apps option, where you can remove or add the apps you want to see on your main screen, so that you can adjust from here. There are also shortcut buttons which are given on top for your phone, your navigation, then the FM, and also the connection options, which you can see from here. All your connection options are right there on your screen when you go to this. There are also more buttons given on the side for your home, your back, your brightness. You can adjust that brightness, and also you can adjust the volume using this volume knob. So straightforward, that has also been given out here, although the volume knob feels a little more rubbery because there's a lot of rubber on it, and especially during the summers it might become a little melted and stuff. So that's about it. Now when you come to the charging, you have one USB port which is given out here, the standard one 12 volt power socket, which is given right next to it. There's one more 12 volt power socket which has been given, and another USB port which has been given inside, so you can leave your phones in charging inside. There is also one more 12 volt power socket given in the boot, so you can clean the boot and everything. And there is also two more USB ports which are given for the second row of passengers, and those are the standard USB ports. So on this Honda Pilot you get the extendable sun visors as well, so it covers, because these doors are pretty huge, so that's one good thing. And also you get a normal sunroof on this Honda Pilot, and I'm guessing they don't have the panoramic sunroof because of that screen that consumes a lot of space, the overhead screen which has been given. So that's something. There is also this brake lever, so the handbrake has been given next to the dead pedal, but the thing is it's in your way, like it's protruding out above your feet, above the dead pedal as well. So sometimes when you are kind of moving your legs, you kind of knock it around. So that's something which can be placed somewhere in the other direction, or somewhere inside, or closer to the edge, I don't know. Now when you come to the storage, there is lots of storage on this Honda Pilot, so you can put like 1 liter worth of bottle in the door card, some more storage, double storage which has been given, one at the bottom, one on top. There is also the two cup holders, but these are just the standard cup holders, not the flexible ones. There is this wireless charger which has been given as well, that you can use to put your phones or wallets and everything. There's also this center storage, huge one again, which has been given out here, in which you can easily put like 8 half a liter worth of bottles. Not kidding, you can, and it's a slidable one, so you can utilize the top bit as well. There's also this glove box which has been given, so that's again. Then there is on the passenger side same amount of storage, while in the back again for the second row of passengers there are two cup holders in both the door cards. There is also some more storage at the bottom, and also there are two more cup holders which are given in the center armrest. For the third row of passengers there are three cup holders which are given on either side, so lots of cup holders again which are given on this Honda Pilot. Now when you come to the seats, these are beige color leather seats which are perforated because they are obviously heated and the cooled ones, so they are the functional ones, and they are a bit on the firmer side, which is what I find. But the adjustability on this seat is pretty good, so you can adjust and do a lot more adjustment with the seats. But overall comfort is pretty alright. There can be a bit of more side supports at the bottom and also in the back. If you're thinking like there is no center armrest out here, how would you rest your hands? Because obviously when you're driving you can't keep your hands floating, but the option to that is that the front two seats are both the captain seats, so you can adjust the handrest and then you can drive. So this gives you that middle space which is quite open out here. So the driver side seat is 8-way electronically adjustable and 2-way lumbar control that you can adjust, while the passenger side seat is just 4-way electronically adjustable. So on this Honda Pilot you would notice that there is no gear shifter, but instead there are these buttons which are given, so it gives you that openness out here in the center console. but this button is operated by the wireless control, so the buttons are quite straightforward. That's all right, but the thing is, when you're operating the car, it becomes a little tedious and you have to remember where the buttons are. I mean, call me an old fashioned, but I'm still the stick fan, where you still want that shifting feel, at least even if it's an automatic. And below that, there is also a button given for your driving mode, so you get 4 different driving modes on this Pilot, which is your normal, your snow, mud and the sand one. Now in the second row of seat, things look quite alright and spacious, so there's decent amount of knee room, and also the headroom is pretty alright, but yeah, you feel a little, you are sitting on the lower side, as you can make out from my angle the legs are making, but nonetheless it's still pretty comfortable in here. You get these beige color leather seats, they are not perforated or anything, just the plain beige color seats, and 3 headrests which you get. There are also this handrest which you get, and pretty broad one, so you can utilize 2 cup holders out here, which are just the standard cup holders, and still you can rest your hands. So yeah, that's pretty good. And also it's a flat floor in here, even though it's an all-wheel drive, but that gives you the middle passenger that extra bit of space also to sit. Although there's a bit of a hump in here at the bottom, while at the back it's a little harder because of that handrest, and also you sit right next to this entertainment system, the screen which has been given. So yeah, but it's still comfortable, I would say, for the longer journeys. Also, you can stretch your legs a little bit underneath the seat so that you can get that extra bit of room out here, but that's all right. But the second row of seat is also slidable, so you can take it in the front, but you can see now there's not much of a room, so that you can give a little bit of extra space to the third row of passenger. And also these seats are reclinable as well, so you can recline them during the longer journeys, or you can make them steeper, so you can do all that angle adjustment also right from here. There's a lever given right out here, and also there's a button given right next to it, so in order for the third row passenger to get in and out, you can just press that easily, so the seats would electronically just fold away and give you that space. Now there is also this sun visor which has been given on both the sides, so especially if you have a baby or something, then it's gonna be nicer, because yeah, you don't have to put those additional sticky ones, the covers which you have to put. So in the back the quality is all right, because now there is like literally all plastic. The door cards are completely made out of plastic. We're going to be resting hands, that's the only soft bit. There are also, as I mentioned, 2 cup holders on either side. They are just the normal cup holders, not the flexible ones. There's also this pocket storage which is given out here. There are 2 vents which are given out here, and the seats are actually heated seats, but for some reason why there's a heated seat option is still I don't understand. And there is also the adjustment options for your air conditioning, which is for your temperature, the fan speed, and also the flow of air and everything. And at the bottom you would find an HDMI port, and also the 2 outlets which are for your headphones, so you can connect that also. There's also a Bluetooth headset which is given for this infotainment screen. It's only 2 headphones which are given, and there is also 2 USB ports which I have mentioned, which has been given. Now in the third row of seats, surprisingly things are pretty spacious to me, because this seat is still in the same position which was there before, so it's pretty much stretched back. So I still have about, let's say, 3 fingers worth of knee room out here, although I'm still sitting pretty low on the floor. So that's the thing with the third row seats usually, but that essentially gives me a lot of headroom as well, because almost nearly identical to the ones which was there in the second row. The only thing is I'm just sitting a little lower, but you know what, it's pretty comfortable compared to the last car which I reviewed, which was the Pathfinder, which had the third row of seat, in which you really did not have much of that third row room out here. So this one does pretty well in terms of that. The seats are also pretty comfortable in here. Again, beige color leather seats which are given with 3 headrests. If you have like 3 people who are willing to sit here, then why not? There are also 3 cup holders which I mentioned here. There's also 3 on this side. There are also 2 vents on either side, circular ones, so you can adjust that. So you have that for the third row of passenger as well. And also there's a handle which has been given so that you can easily come in and out of the car. And Overall, there are also bigger windows in here, so that makes things a little more spacious as well. And the seats can be folded pretty easily. There is a button which is given on the seats in the back on the top side, just like how it's given on the sides. So for the passengers to come out from the third row, you have to just press this button and the seats would just fold away and you can easily come out of it. You can even push these seats a little ahead, and the in and out is going to be a little difficult because the overall the space that opens up is slightly smaller again compared to other rivals as well, but nonetheless you are compensated with the fact that you get more space out here when you compare it to many rivals which I have seen. So on that count, this third row of seat is much better and actually much usable on this Honda Pilot. So this Honda Pilot Touring is powered by a 3.5 liter V6 single overhead cam IV Tech engine that produces 280 horsepower and 355 Newton meters of torque, while this engine is mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and it's also got the all-wheel drive system, and the torque is automatically managed by the IV torque system management. So it automatically decides how much to put power into the wheels. It's predominantly front wheel drive, and some of it is just powered behind, unless and otherwise you need the back wheels to power, then it would transfer more power there. So that way it's a pretty simple, straightforward mechanism. When you come to the engine and the gearbox, the engine is pretty good and it's pretty sweet, it's very smooth, and the gearbox on 9-speed is all right. There are also paddle shifters, but yeah, you're gonna just enjoy this ride most of the time, so just leave it in auto. But there are also some occasions when the gearbox may act a little weird and there'll be some amount of uneven gear shifts and there'll be a little bit of a jerk and all. Sometimes like sometimes I feel it, but most of the times it's a smooth operation that you get from this gearbox. And not just that, there are 4 different driving modes which you've seen, which is your normal, sand, rock and the snow mode. So all those modes you can try. It can do light bit of off-roading, that's about it, but not the heavier bits where you can just take it on to dune bashing and stuff. So yeah, most of the times it's pretty alright. It's also got the variable cylinder management system. So what that does is, when you're cruising on a longer journey, it would deactivate some cylinders so that it gives you more efficiency out of this V6 engine. So when you come to the efficiency, on a long run you will find the engine to deliver you between 9 to 9.5 kilometers per liter, while on inside the city and when you are busy in the traffic, it would deliver between 7.5 to 8 kilometers per liter. So it's a big car, to be honest, and you can actually feel a lot of weight also. So it's pretty decent for a day-to-day functioning, and as I mentioned, it's a big car, you can see that. And now when you come to the steering, it's a decent steering which I find, but there are a bit of dead zones in the steering initially, and it takes a little while, and then the steering action happens more aggressively, while initially it's a little laid back that way. Whereas on the feedback side, it's decent, even though this is a heavy car, but the steering system that way it's pretty good, and it just because it's so heavy, so it may take a little while to respond, but nonetheless it's kind of alright and still pretty active steering that way. When it comes to the noise and the vibrations, it's pretty decent in here. You get active noise cancellation inside, which is why the cabin is super quiet. You can't even hear the engine or anything that way. And even the build quality is pretty good, which is why you don't get any rattling or anything, and it's a very supple ride. You are just cruising along in comfort. Now when you come to the suspensions, it's also on a decent side. It's comfortable and there's not much roll, even though this is a huge car. And to show you even more like how comfortable the suspensions are and also the roll, so let me do a slalom and show you. Like, yeah, the steering takes a little while, the car takes a little while to change directions that way, but it's such a tall car, but I still don't feel that I'm gonna topple or anything. So that way it's a pretty comfortable setup, and on a day-to-day basis this is just very good. It just glides over the surface very well. Now when you come to the brakes, you get 4 disc brakes on this Honda Pilot Touring, and the performance from that is alright. The only thing is that the pedal feels a little spongy, and initially there is a bit of a dead travel, and then a lot of things happen eventually. So let me do, which is if this thing accelerates quickly, let me do a 100 to 0 emergency brake stop and show you. Yeah, you see, takes a little while. There's also emergency stop signal, by the way, that has been given as a part of the safety systems. So it's all right. It's just that takes a little while to respond, but nonetheless, I mean, on a day-to-day basis you're not going to be doing these emergency brake tests or anything, but just to show you and demonstrate how it acts. It's just that, yeah, initially there's a bit of that sponginess that can be tweaked around by just improving that pedal feel. Now when you come to the safety systems on this Honda Pilot Touring, you get 6 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger, and there are curtain airbags on the pillars. There is also ISOFIX points, child ISOFIX points in all 3 second row of seat, and also 1 more seat on the right side in the 3rd row, so you get quite a bit of child ISOFIX points as well. There's also a single camera reversing system. The output from that is very good. I am impressed by what the system is capable. You can change different angles, and you can even see the sensors and everything in that mode, and you can change all that view and everything. And there's also active noise cancellation. There's also tire pressure monitoring system. There's also ABS. There's also EBD. There's emergency stop signal. There is also the lane keep assist. There's the adaptive cruise control. That adaptive cruise control can be improved as well, because it tends to be having that sudden movement when it changes lanes and it finds an empty patch. It just accelerates like anything, and then once it spots the car, which is when it spots it very closely, then it brakes like very aggressively. So that just can be adjusted and changed in terms of the programming. There's also the Honda sensing, so that also you will get in the lower variants. You will also get the lane watch, which is the Honda lane watch, which shows you the right side feed on your camera, but on the Touring it doesn't. When you come to the pricing, so the base version, which is the EXL of the Honda Pilot, will cost you around 166,900 dirhams, while the special edition, which is the SE, will cost you 171,000 dirhams approximately, and this Touring version will come in at 181,000 dirhams. Now the thing is, compared to the previous generation, there has been marginal improvement in terms of the dynamics, where the car feels pretty stable now, and it also feels quite easier to control. And that's what it is, because in the previous generation it used to be a little soft and it used to be a little wobbly, but on this one it's been resolved. The engine is very good. It's just very quiet, and it's also loaded with a lot of tech, although the interior can be spruced up a little bit and bit more modernized, because it's time it gets that new feel. But anyways, the newer version is apparently coming in 23, so that will have a new look, and all the interior and everything that will be changed. But so far it's a very good option in terms of the mid-size 7-seater. It's practical. It's got so much space. It's got humongous amount of space. That is pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and stay safe.